My name is Demarius Evans. I'm my brother's primary care provider. Our mother passed away in the midst of his onset to psychosis. The way that this affects our family dynamics is big because in a lot of ways I do have to I have to keep him accountable in ways that maybe you wouldn't do an adult sibling. In a lot of ways I have to find myself being, a strict parent and saying no when, normally you're kind of, as a sibling, you're more inclined to just, acquiesce. You're gonna say, hey, that's fine for you to do this. Oh, you wanna go engage in risky behaviors? Go ahead, brother, you're gonna have a good time. I'm not so much able to have that kind of relationship with my brother because I have to be there to be the responsible one when he's not able to. The way that I felt about taking over, as his caregiver was, it was less complicated than the average person, probably, because I already take care of our sister. Our sister has cerebral palsy, so I was already, acclimated to taking on roles that aren't necessarily in traditional families. It definitely was made complicated by the passing of our mother. It was never in the front of my mind necessarily that I was going to have to be his primary care provider, and having that come out of nowhere was difficult. Some of the biggest challenges as a sibling caregiver is you have your own life to start with. I have my own 2 children, a household that I was already maintaining, a job, also, again, I'm a care provider for another sibling. And setting boundaries that weren't previously there became very important in the early onset to this because it was more than I was able to carry at the time. In a lot of ways, experiencing having a family member with psychosis prior to having another family member with psychosis can prepare you. But in a lot of ways, it's a learning experience every time. You may have a lot of preconceived notions about how the person will be that maybe they just won't be that way. Each different person has a different idiosyncrasy that you may not perceive in one family member to another. Each individual is different. There's some similarities that you can key in on if you pay close attention. For sibling caregivers, the most important thing that I think that you need to establish is boundaries. You need to establish very upfront and obvious boundaries with your sibling and with your sibling and other family members. For someone dealing with psychosis, a lot of times it's very hard to perceive where your existence meets their existence. Sometimes you are perceived as like an endless resource, and that's just not true. I couldn't imagine having to deal with everything that I've had to deal with in the last couple of years without having the journeys there in your corner,